Hi guys, welcome to today's video. Today we are going to be looking at how to get perfect settings on Streamlabs OBS at 1080p at 60 frames per second. Please make sure to like the video and subscribe and leave the notifications on, as we'll be having more how-to videos to help with your streaming, what not to do, what equipment to have, and hopefully help your channel to run a little bit more smoother, especially through live streams. So let's get straight into it. Before we get onto the Streamlabs OBS element of the video, let's just have a quick look of what my equipment is. So I haven't got the best PC in the world. It only cost me £650 of like last year, but it has some components that are really good, and it was built by a company called Fierce PC. I'll leave their link on the comment section of the video. I'll also leave links to all the different equipment as well that I use. So first off, I run a Ryzen 5 3600, and that is clocked at 4.2 GHz, so it's slightly overclocked. It has 6 cores, which is more than enough to run 1080p and 60 frames per second on your streaming. I have a GTX 1650 from NVIDIA, which when we get a little bit later into the video, I'll show you the different software settings on Streamlabs OBS for what NVIDIA graphics card you have. I also run 16 gigabytes of Vengeance RAM, an A320 MSI motherboard, 500 watt power supply, 1 terabyte of Barracuda hard drive, all in a Game Max tower. I also run Windows 10 Pro, and apart from that, that's probably about it. Right guys, what I want you to do first is to go on to the Google search, put in internet speed test, and it will come up with something that looks a little bit like this. So what we'll do is quickly just run the speed test. So for streaming, the download levels isn't really what you're interested in, it's the upload speeds that you're more interested in. But still, it's a good opportunity to find out what your download speeds are if you are downloading new games or software, stuff like that. So it looks like my upload speed is at 38 megabytes per second, which is very fast. As you can see, my server is in London, so that will make me able to handle different HD devices all at the same time, or more importantly, be able to upload at 1080p at 60 frames per second. So the first one we're going to look at is your stream settings. So the stream type streaming services, I obviously stream on YouTube, but you guys might stream on both Facebook or Twitch. So more importantly, on your streaming platform, you will be given a stream key. Make sure not to show anybody your stream key, as if they have it, they will be able to use it and stream to your channel. So make sure that you never show it on stream, and that the password is always hidden. So obviously today we are looking at the streaming element of the video. Like I mentioned earlier, the encoder is the most important thing to base your streaming on, depending on what graphics card that you have. So because I run a 1650 GTX, I have mine on software X264. If you have a more upgraded graphics card, then you would go on hardware NVENC, or if you have one of the new graphics cards, look if you can get your hands on any of the 3080s or 3090s graphics cards, which are impossible to get at the minute, then you would probably try out the hardware NVENC new. But like I said, we have a slightly less powerful graphics card, so we run the software X264. So I would leave your rate control on CBR, and when we was looking at your upload speeds, this is where the bitrate comes into hand. So I run mine on 6000 because my internet is very fast. If your upload speeds are between 20 and 30, I would probably drop them down to 3500 to 4000. And if your upload speeds are between 10 and 20, I would probably drop that down a little bit further to between 2000 and 3000. So I run my CPU usage very fast. Like I said, I have a Ryzen 5 3600 with 6 cores, so I don't mind if my CPU uses a little bit of its power to give better quality to the viewers. You could alter this by just clicking on from very slow, I wouldn't bother with placebo, to ultra fast, depending on what you think your CPU can handle. But I know mine can handle quite a lot, so I will leave it at very fast. The profile tune I have never touched, so I wouldn't go messing around with that. And then the last thing I want to show you is the video settings. So my base canvas is 1920 by 1080, so 1080p. That is also my output scale. If, however, you wanted to use 720p instead, that is completely fine. It's whatever you want to output to your viewers. I know a lot of people on Facebook and Twitch, before you become affiliate, have to go onto 720 anyway, so I would change that down to the 720 option. which is just there, 1280 by 720. A lot of people still like to run the 720 at 30 frames per second, so it just means a lot less for your computer to handle, and you can still show your viewers a very good screen to watch without any lagging. But personally, I prefer to have my base canvas, my output to the same, which is 1080p on 60 frames per second. If, however, you have a 2K or a 4K monitor and you wanted your base canvas resolution to be higher, that's fine, it will go out to the viewer. If you have the hottest PC out on the market and you can handle running at 4K and giving your viewers a 4K screen as well, that is fine, but just to let you know that most people do not have 4K screens as of yet, and if you put the output scale to 4K, they will still only see it in 1080p if that's all they have on their phone, on their TV, or on their monitor. So if you did want to change your FPS values, it's just here. You should basically say it's 29.97 or 30 if you run at 30 frames per second, and it'll be less stress on your computer as well. But for now, that is my settings, so if you have a very similar computer to me and you wanted to test these settings out, then I would highly recommend using the same settings as I have here. If you wanted to give your computer a good test, I would use the game Call of Duty Warzone because it is very demanding on your PC, and I would slightly change around the bit rate to see if the viewers are not getting any lagging on their viewing and that your computer can handle it as well. Other games like Fortnite, your Rocket League, that use a little bit less of your CPU power because the games aren't as detailed, then that's fine, you won't need to change any. But Call of Duty for me, Warzone, was the one where I wanted to get it right because it is very, very demanding. And that, guys, is it. So in future videos we will go through the constellation and the sources and the mixer on Streamlabs OBS to try and show you how to get set up fully for your stream. But I just wanted to show you how easy it is to set up on Streamlabs OBS to get them settings so that you are streaming in 1080p and you have got 60 frames per second. I'm lucky enough that my PC just manages to do it on all the best games. Call of Duty Warzone is the most demanding game that I play, and sometimes you will find it hard to get the settings right on that. So that is a good game to test out with trying to get your settings just right because it is so demanding. You may have to change your in-game settings so that you're bringing a lot of your in-game settings from like very high or very fast to medium or low, especially with your shadows, your tessellation and stuff like that. So I hope this video helps if you're just starting out. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Cheers for now, guys. See ya.
Let me down.